Thank you, Farai. Morning, everyone. I see we've got a healthy number of participants now online with us. It's a good time for me to welcome you to this webinar, probably the last of 2025, but there are a number of topics which we believe are still clamoring to be heard, to provide the necessary education to those interested in the capital market. So it may not quite be our last one. So let me welcome you all to this particular webinar, which is purpose-built and customized for members of IPMZ. And we are very grateful to Duduzile and team for making this webinar possible. I'm also grateful to the members of the capital market sector, who I will introduce shortly, including from the regulator, who have made themselves available for us to have this discussion together. So welcome, everybody. The usual format is that questions are noted or provided in the chat, and they'll be tackled at the end of all the presentations. But for now, let me just take you through what we have planned and lined up for you. So hopefully you can see my screen, which just gives a very basic outline of the hour or so we will spend together. The welcome remarks have been done. We are going to kick off with a presentation from George Nepera, who's from the regulator, Securities and Exchange Commission. We will jump straight into two practicals, one from Alice from CTrade and another from Marjorie from ZSE Holdings. And then finally, we'll have an investor education practical on the materials available for sustainable financial literacy. And we'll wrap up with the Q&A that I have mentioned. So you'll need to know who your presenters are today. And as I've already mentioned, George is with the Commission, and he is a principal officer, the regulator for capital markets, as you know, collective investment schemes, private equity, and venture capital. He boasts 20 years of experience in regulation and prudential supervision of the financial markets, and was previously at RBZ and at ZAMFI, the Microfinance Association. So he's got a nice balance of exposure in the sector. Next up, we have Alice Chitambara, and Alice is head of operations at Corpserve Registrars, and has 12 years of experience in Zimbabwe's capital markets and investment operations, with a strong understanding of trading dynamics, corporate actions, investor services, and she plays a key role in driving capital markets development and operational efficiency. Marjorie from the ZSE is dynamic financial markets professional with over 4 years of experience spanning capital markets operations, trading, compliance, and business development. Currently, she's serving as a business development officer at Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, where she leads initiatives to attract new listings, promote innovation, and in financial products, strengthen relationships, among other responsibilities. Finally, we have another colleague from the regulator, and Precious is all things financial literacy, financial inclusion, and awareness here at the Commission. And among the various roles that she plays and expertise she holds, she also serves on various regional committees, including the SADC-CISNA Consumer Financial Education and Protection Working Group, the National Financial Inclusion Thematic Working Groups, among others. She is driven by a strong commitment to financial empowerment and inclusive economic participation, and this will become very evident as she takes us through her presentation. So for now, let me stop sharing my screen and invite our first presenter, George, to take us through his presentation. Welcome to you all, and George, over to you.
Thank you so much, Farai. You can confirm if I'm loud and clear.
You're loud and clear, George. We just need to see your presentation when you're ready. Great. We see it now. If you'll go into presentation mode.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much. As already introduced, the principal office with the supervision surveillance. My topic, which I've been given to present, is about the role of SECZim and investment opportunities in Zimbabwe. It's a very important topic, especially now where our government is talking about open for business and also investment opportunities, both to the people in our country and also those are in the diaspora, international community, and so forth. And I believe your decision to say, can we get something from SEC on that topic so that we don't just make our extension of education to outsiders without our own local people here. They normally say charity begins at home. So we have to start here with our investors locally, and then we extend it to other markets as it were. Now, I'm going to focus on 3 or 4 areas. Maybe a brief about who is SECZim, our role as expressed in our statutory acts. Then we deep dive into the investment opportunities that are in our capital market. Then we'll make a conclusion. Now, who is SECZim? We are an independent regulator of capital markets. And in Zimbabwe, we find capital markets are everywhere, both in developing countries and also developed countries. And we're saying also the same regulator for collective investment schemes, asset management, private equity, and venture capital. It could be maybe for the first time that I've heard terms like private equity, venture capital, but I think by the end of this presentation, you'll be able to make sense or appreciate why we have such specialized vehicles in our market. We were established through an act of parliament called Securities and Exchange Act, which was promulgated in 2004, but we then became operational in 2008 when the Minister of Finance appointed the first group of commissioners in terms of a certain section within the Act. So we have commissioners, which are kind of board members, and there's a chairman that is responsible for the overall governance leadership of SECZim. Then of course, the secretariat, which is our team here, and then our CEO, just like we have in any regulatory agency. Yes. You may want to know that there are other regulators, we call them financial regulators in our country. You are aware of the Central Bank, Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. They are in charge of the banking sector. We have the IPEC, or the Insurance and Pension Commissioner, which are for the insurance and pension sector. Then ourselves now. So in our country, we have these 3 main financial regulators. Yes. So we kind of coordinate, because if you look at banking opportunities for investments, if you look at insurance, if you look at capital markets, they are all interconnected. And we need them in our market, especially as we go towards our vision 2030 of wanting to establish an upper middle class society that is well informed about the investment opportunities in our country. Now, within the SEC Act, it defines our statutory roles or key objectives. There are about 6 of them. We are there, number 1, to provide high level of investors protection. You realize IPMZ, they are for depositors protection, but ourselves, we are for investor protection. You are a depositor in a bank, but when you come to our market, you are considered an investor. So we are there then to protect you in as far as issues of malpractice or maybe aggressiveness by our security market intermediaries. Number two, we're there to reduce what's called systemic risk in the capital markets, which from a layman point of view, that's about failure of an entity. We don't want any broking firm or asset manager to fail. So we are there to monitor, supervise, so that there is no incidents of such failures in our market. We know once there's a failure, it affects investors' confidence. That's why issues of market integrity and investors' confidence are part of our mandate as well. Number four, we're there to prevent market manipulation, fraud, and financial crime, which are everywhere in any capital markets. But we are there to prevent such scenarios in them taking place. Number five, ensuring transparency in the capital markets. And at last, promoting investors' education. And that's why we are here today, to promote that pillar, which is within our mandate is SECZim. Now, we now make a deep dive into what are those investment opportunities that are found in the capital market. I will take you through all these 5 or so opportunities. My colleagues who will come after me will really go down into how you can purchase, whether stocks, REITs, ETFs, the practical side of how you can participate in those markets. For me, I'll just give a high level of what these particular instruments or investment opportunities are in our market. We start with stocks or shares. They are called stocks in other jurisdictions. Some call them shares. It's interchangeably one and the same thing. So these are found in the stock market. You may say, what is a stock market? Just like a vegetable market, your vegetables, your onions, and all those things. So I say in this particular market, it's for the buying and selling of shares, including other securities. That could be bonds, ETFs, REITs, and many other things. So what is a share? I know most of you could have bought companies or started one. When you go to this office, when you establish a company, that company will be having shares. And that share represent your ownership in a company. So you may not decide to list that particular share. We call it private equity. But should you decide to come on a formal stock exchange, it becomes something listed. So there's a platform for that. In this case, we've got 3 registered stock exchange. The first one, which is the oldest one, is Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. On this market, your shares are denominated in our local currency, which is the ZiG. The second one, which is the latest one, is Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. The shares that are listed on this particular exchange, they are denominated in US dollars. So you can see there are 2 alternatives here. You may buy shares on Zimbabwe Stock Exchange or buy shares on the Victoria Falls. Then I've got FinSec, which is another platform again. I know one of our colleagues who will come after me will also tell us more about the FinSec. They are a market where they operate a CTrade platform and many other things. Then you may say, how many companies are listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange? There are about 44 as of now. As the 30th of June, the cumulative total of the share price is about 65.4 billion, which translates to 2.4 billion US dollars. That's the great size of our market today. The VFX, the market cap, we call it market cap, which is just a summation of all share price of the companies listed there. It's about 1.24 billion. So if you accumulate the two, you find out that plus or minus 3.8 billion US dollars, which is the size of our capital market. There are ongoing plans to introduce a new stock exchange by Zimbabwe Stock Exchange Holdings, which is going to be called Zimbabwe Entrepreneurship Exchange. This one, when it comes on board, it will cater for the small SMEs. We find out as of now, if SMEs are to list on either Zimbabwe Stock Exchange or Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, maybe it could be expensive because of the listing requirements. So they've decided in their own wisdom to say, let's say, cater for the SMEs through another exchange. Okay. So once this exchange becomes operational, sometime maybe next year, if all goes well, that's another alternative market where you can purchase shares that are listed on that particular stock exchange. Now, you may say, which are the major companies listed on our stock exchange? On our Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, there's Delta, Econet, HBC Holdings, NNP Holdings, your Tanganda, Hippo Valley, Teleport. These are blue chip companies that are performing very well. If you look at their financial statements that they've released after 6 months of operations, they are all declaring profits, which is a plus. When a share or a company declares profits, ultimately the share price go up. For example, maybe it was 124 before the results come into the market. Once they are released, it goes up to maybe $3. So what does it mean? It means your wealth is increased. Okay, so there is a value there in investing in such companies. I remember sometime yesterday, I was reading about the story of the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa. How did he become a billionaire? You'll be surprised. He simply bought shares in many companies, and then today is a billionaire. Not because he started in other companies, he simply participated for the capital markets in South Africa. Today is a billionaire. The story goes on and on. We all know of Elon Musk. When he started his company, he listed, today is a billionaire. And all other people in America are billionaires because of the capital markets. So you may be one day another billionaire in our country. Who knows? You see, you may want to go to Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. What do you have there? You've got Insco, you've got Edgar Stores, Hanega, it's a mining company, First Capital Bank, your previously Barclays, Kavango Resources, it's a mining company, Evicticas, oil and gas. And all these companies, of late, people are buying stocks because they are buying them in US dollars. So you may not have problems or challenges, whether there's going to be a change of currency or not. On this particular stock exchange, there's going to be nothing that will change. That market will continue, if I may say, in perpetuity without any problems. So what does it mean? You can purchase shares, whether if you like mining, whatever it is. If you look at their financial statements, they're all performing very well. Okay, so that's what you might have on that market. Then what are unit trusts? Unit trusts are simply...
Can I, George, I'm giving you 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes. Thank you.
That's okay. Unit trusts are a collective investment scheme where funds are put together, and then these are invested on your behalf in stocks, bonds, and short-term money market instruments. They are registered or managed by what you call asset managers, which are under our SEC. Currently, there are about 49 active unit trusts, constituting about plus or minus 78,000 unit holders, and the cumulative total of what is there is about 1.61 billion and 92 million. So that's another alternative market. Another one, the popular one, is what we call REITs. What are REITs? These are capital market instruments that allow individuals to invest in real estate properties without directly owning or managing them. What will be the gain here? The income is generated from rental payments and is shared with all unit holders. According to the law that is there, 90% of the rental income must be shared as dividends to the unit holders. As of now, SEC has registered about 7 REITs. 2 of them are already listed. There's a Tigere and Revitas REIT. Here's just an example of them declaring dividends this year. Tigere declared plus or minus 500,000 USD as dividends. Revitas also made a declaration of dividends. So every quarter they pay out dividends, which is a real return if you are participating in that market. ETFs, these are kind of specialized, where it's a basket of securities that are combined together, and then you list them. For example, there could be shares only in agriculture, they come into a basket, or shares in mining alone come into a basket, and then they market them to you as an ETF. So it depends now what you like. Do you like agriculture stocks? There'll be an ETF for agriculture. Do you want like mining? There's ETF for mining. Do you like gold? Can be an ETF for gold. Do you like bitcoins? They can do ETF for bitcoins. All these things are available in our market. Then last, got private equity and venture capital. These are collective investment schemes that you can set up, have them licensed by SECZim, and then they become operational. The difference is that if it's a private equity, you'll buy shares in unlisted companies. You buy shares in labels, you buy in any company that becomes private equity. Venture capital, your money that you set up, you now invest in what is called startup companies. Okay, so these are collective investment schemes. We know out there are some that are operating without a license. That becomes a problem because they are not protected. In our market, there is investor protection fund, so that if there's any loss of value, the protection fund will take care of that, but only to the licensed players, which are licensed by SEC. If not, there's a problem there. In conclusion, what are we saying? As SECZim, we are playing a pivotal role in providing education about investment opportunities. And our role remains protecting investors and through investors' education and building marketing confidence, which we believe is important towards our country, moving towards an upper middle class society by the year 2030. And we believe that kind of a vision can only be achieved if you've got people like you that are informed about investment opportunities in Zimbabwe. Otherwise, thank you so much.
George, thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you for putting your foot on the fuel pedal to run a little faster towards the end. And let me reassure our participants that Talent and Duduzile will be sharing the presentations with our participants so that you can take a bit more time to understand the fundamentals that are being discussed. We would like to transition now to one of two practical sessions, which will enable our practitioners to get a better understanding of what investing actually looks like using the two primary providers of capital market infrastructure in the form of FinSec and ZSE. And it also means that you are equipping yourselves in order to be able to guide and advise the various constituencies to whom you are the professional advisor. So starting off, from what I can see, will be Alice, and Alice will be quickly followed by Marjorie, and it will conclude with financial education. Alice, over to you for your presentation, and best wishes.
Thank you, Farai. Kindly confirm if I'm audible.
Very audible and clear.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you. My name is Alice Chitambara. I'm the first of CTrade, and I'm representing the Financial Securities Exchange. I'd like to start by acknowledging SECZim by hosting this webinar and for collaborating with FinSec to bring the much needed awareness to the investing community. The work which is being done will go a long way to narrow the knowledge gap that is associated with our Zimbabwean capital markets. As CTrade, we have shifted our focus from marketing CTrade as a brand to using CTrade as a platform which raises awareness about investing and trading in various securities. In this regard, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to CTrade. CTrade is an online trading platform which was developed and launched in 2018. It allows both institutional and retail investors to buy and sell various listed securities, such as equities, bonds, extended traded funds, popularly known as ETFs, real estate investment trust, these are also called REITs, futures, options, and also unit trust. CTrade enables an investor to trade in both currencies, that is the USD and the ZiG. It also exposes you to all the listed securities on the 3 exchanges here in Zimbabwe, which is our Financial Securities Exchange, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, and the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. CTrade.
Alice, please allow me to interrupt you. Will you be sharing your screen at some point?
Confirm you can see my screen, Farai?
Unfortunately not. I thought perhaps you were choosing a strategic moment to share it. So currently I cannot see your screen.
Okay, let me try one more time to share my screen.
Okay, Alice, and I'm sorry to have interrupted your flow, but we thought we may be losing valuable information.
Not a problem. Confirm you can now see my screen.
Yes, there's a transition and absolutely. Thank you. Please continue, Alice.
All right, thank you, Farai. All right, I was highlighting that CTrade prioritizes simplicity, convenience, and accessibility. With CTrade, trading has been simplified. You can now open a trading account and trade the same day. When it comes to convenience, I can say that CTrade, it is now at your doorstep, and you can now trade on the go, anytime, anywhere, as long as the market is open, you can trade. Then in terms of accessibility, CTrade is accessible on 3 platforms. You can access CTrade on our website, which is the web portal. Our website is www.ctrade.co.zw. Alternatively, you can download the CTrade app on the Google Play Store. The app is called the CTrade Mobile, and install it on your smartphone. Alternatively, if you do not have access to internet, maybe you are in the remote areas, you do not even have a laptop or a smartphone, you can still access CTrade on our USSD platform, which is *727#, and you sign up to CTrade. Once you have signed up on any of these platforms and click sign up, an application form will then populate for you to provide your personal information and your KYC. You can then select to open a corporate account or an individual account, depending with the type of account that you need. If you're opening an individual account, you make sure that you have a copy of your ID or a valid passport and a passport size photo that you upload for identification purposes. Once you've provided all this information, which includes your banking details, your address, your name, your date of birth, and your email, you then submit your application form online. Once the application form has been received, it will be verified and approved. A notification will be received on the same email address that you have used to sign up that your CTrade account has been activated. And at this point, you can now start accessing CTrade either on your mobile phone or your computer or on your USSD platform. So when you log in for the first time, CTrade will allow you to create as a password. When you've created a password, your username will be the email address that you have used to sign up. When you log in, this is the landing page for CTrade. On the landing page, we do have a fantasy market and a live market. The fantasy market actually takes you to the fantasy world where you can learn how to trade on CTrade. This is a replica of the CTrade live market. It is a demo account that has been designed to assist you to familiarize with CTrade before you start trading lively. It actually has the same features as the live market. You'll be able to post orders and also to view your portfolio. So once you have acquainted yourself with trading on CTrade, you can then move on to the live market. The live market, this is the market which is connected to the 3 exchanges here in Zimbabwe. And it is a pre-funded platform. Before you can start trading, you need to actually fund your trading account. So on this platform, you can then access all the securities that I've talked about in the beginning. You can then select to trade in unit trust or REITs or extended traded funds or equities. And you can actually select any exchange of your choice. So the first thing that you need to do is to fund your CTrade account. The CTrade account has got a wallet, which is almost the same way to the EcoCash wallet that we are all used to. So when you transfer your funds from wherever they are, if it's in a bank account or your funds are actually held in the EcoCash account or in the Inbox account, wherever your funds are, you can actually transfer them from that account to the CTrade wallet. How would you transfer these funds? You then click a deposit function and you then select the currency. Once you have selected the currency, you then select the method. The method depends with where your funds are withheld. If your funds are in an EcoCash account, you then select EcoCash account, you indicate the amount, and you then click deposit. It will then send a message to your phone for you to confirm the transfer. Once you have confirmed the transfer, the funds will then instantly reflect in your CTrade wallet. Now that you've got funds in your CTrade wallet, you are now good to go to start trading. So once the funds are in your wallet, you can then select whether you want to post an order on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange platform. Maybe you want to buy some Delta shares. You then select the counter, you select the broker, then you indicate the price, the number of shares that you want to buy, and then you can post your order. When you post your order, CTrade takes your order to the exchange where it will be on the ATS board to find a match. Then the trading will be taking place. So I'd like to say in brief.
Alice, this is my final interruption, and I'm saying that you have 2 minutes left.
Thank you, Farai. I'm actually concluding. So once your order has been sent to the ATS at the exchange, you are now in the process of trading, and you then wait for the order to find a match. You can actually view the status of your orders by checking my orders, where you'll be able to find if the order is matched or it's still pending. And this is how you can open a CTrade account and post some orders using the CTrade platform. So in brief, I would say if you want to open a CTrade account, you can either open it using our website, using the our website, using the www.ctrade.co.zw. Alternatively, you can download the mobile app, which is CTrade Mobile, or you can actually sign up using the USSD platform. And if you need more information with regards to opening a CTrade account or how to start trading on CTrade, you can get in touch with us on the contact details that are showing on the screen, and we'll be able to give you more information about trading. In brief, I can say this is how you open a CTrade account and start trading. Thank you so much, Farai. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Alice. And I understand the difficulties and the pressures of compressing so much great information into a 10-minute presentation. And this is where we are hoping that once the interest has been piqued, there will be ongoing engagement off platform where the practical issues can be tackled between yourselves and those who would be interested from following this webinar. Thank you so much to you, Alice, and to George previously. And both of you, please keep an eye on the chat and the Q&A so that you can tackle issues as they come up. I'm seeing that George is active there already. Thank you very much. Marjorie, please step up and take us through your presentation. Some of the groundwork has been done for you, but we do recognize that your solution is different. And belongs to a different stable. So over to you, and remember to share your screen.
Thank you, Farai. Please confirm if you can hear me.
You're audible, thank you.
All right, now I will be sharing my presentation. Once
Great.
it's showing, can you please confirm?
Visible and just needs presentation, which you've now entered. Over to you, Marjorie.
All right, thank you. Morning, everyone, and thank you to the Securities and Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe for allowing us this chance to do a presentation of what we offer as ZSE Holdings. So in the interest of time, I'll dive right into my presentation. I am Marjorie, and from the ZSE Holdings. The holding company is home to two of the main exchanges in our country, Zimbabwe Stock Exchange and the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. Main difference being the ZSE trades in local currency and the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange trades exclusively in USD. So the main objective of us as ZSE Holdings is to provide capital market solutions and managing these two exchanges, which then go on to list various products like equities, ETFs, and all the other products that the earlier presenters talked about. So ZSE Holdings itself is a listed company on the ZSE under the ticker ZSEH.ZW. So you can also buy shares in ZSE Holdings. So the main focus of my presentation today is the secondary market trading, which we then make possible for retail investors through the in-house mobile platforms that I'm going to be talking about today. So the first mobile platform that we do have is ZSE Direct, which was launched in 2020. And exactly 2 years later, in September 2022, we launched the VFEX Direct. So these platforms are specifically designed for retail investors, so as to encourage retail participation on the exchanges. And you can access these platforms either via a web portal or mobile applications that are available on Google Play Store for those that use Androids, and on Apple App Store for those who use iOS. So the main functions or features that are available on these platforms, they are two separate platforms, but what they offer in terms of functionality is exactly the same. So they do offer a user-friendly interface. It's easy to navigate, and even if you're a first timer, you can easily follow through the platform and easily navigate through it. So one of the features that it also has is the My Portfolio feature, which allows you to track the holdings that you own. It gives you the list of the counters, the daily prices, and valuation on a daily basis. It also shows you if you are in a gain or loss in terms of price movements on a daily basis as well. It also gives you market statistics like your official price sheets, among other valuable information. Then in terms of trading, it gives you an access to trade in different lot sizes. So we have an odd board on the main exchange, which is any shares from 1 to 99, and the regular board, which trades in multiples of hundreds. So through this platform, you can trade on either of these boards. It also shows you the market depth, which shows you the top 10 orders on the buy side or on the sell side. So how you get started on this platform, there are prerequisites for you to be able to open a trading account. You must be at least 18 years of age. You must have a national ID or valid passport. And unfortunately, we do not accept driver's license, as most of them do not show nationality, which is a key piece of information that we do need in order to determine if you're a local or a foreign investor. Then you have to provide a proof of residence. We have a range of proof of residence that we do accept. The key information that has to be on this proof of residence is your name and your registered address. So it can be a utility bill, a bank statement, an affidavit from your landlord, or a lease agreement, letter from employer, councillor, or village head. The key things that should be on any of this document is your name and the registered address. Then you should have a valid email address and phone number and a bank account with any commercial bank registered in Zimbabwe. So it would be a Nostro account if it is for VFX, and a local currency if it's for ZSE. So the registration process can be done through the web portal, and those are the links: www.vfxdirect.vfx.exchange or www.zsedirect.co.zw. So it takes you to this landing page where you can then start to register. So the first step when you're registering is to select a stockbroker of your choice. A stockbroker is a licensed intermediary who are allowed to trade on behalf of clients in licensable securities. So you select a stockbroker of your choice. We have a total of 22. After you've selected a broker of your choice, there are terms and conditions and the privacy policy in terms of data protection. You have to read these terms and agree to them, then you proceed. Once you've proceeded, you will see a client details form where you have to fill all your details. That's your title, gender, and all those other details showing on your screen. The key thing here is to make sure that you put a valid email address, because before you go on to complete the registration of your account, you would need to verify that email. So as soon as you finish filling out this form, it asks you to create a password of your choice. Once you've done that, it redirects you to your email, where you receive an email with a link to take you back to the platform after you have verified that the email that you registered is valid. Once it redirects you to the platform, you are to relog in again with the credentials that you have created. That's the password. And once you've completed logging in, that is when you complete the registration process by uploading all those KYC details that I mentioned earlier on the prerequisites. That's your proof of residence, your ID, a passport sized photo, and any other documentation that needs to be uploaded. Once you have done that, you click submit and your application will be processed within 48 hours. The reason why it takes up to 48 hours is for you to be able to trade, you need what is called a custodial account. And like I said, you've also selected a broker of your choice. They have to go through your submission to make sure that there's nothing missing. And once everything is in order, they then assign to you an EDS or CSD account, which is a Central Securities Depository number, where your shares will be housed. Once a CSD or EDS is allocated to you, you can then start trading on the platform. And trading hours are from 9:30 to 1 p.m. So you can then go ahead to find your wallet. Just on your homepage, there is a My Wallet tab. And as soon as you click it, it then takes you step by step on what you need to do. Once you click on the My Wallet tab, it asks you to click a top-up option that you want to use, either EcoCash, Inbox, Zipit, RTGS transfer. You select it. Once you've done that, banking details appear on your screen, and these are banking details for ZSE or VFX, where you then need to further go and proceed to transfer these funds. Once the funds have hit the ZSE or VFX account, your wallet balance automatically updates to the top up that you would have made. Once you have money in your account, you can then go on to buy or to buy the shares that you want. Also on your homepage, there is a buy tab. You simply click it. You select the counter that you want to buy. You specify the shares that you'd want to buy, then the bid price that you want to buy those shares for. So on a daily basis, there is a price range that is permissible for you to trade, and the platform would show you the range that you are allowed to place your trade within. So if you place an order that is outside that range, your trade will not go through. So after you've placed the price of your choice, you submit your trade, your order. So the order, there's a notification that comes on your account to say that you've placed an order for so and so company, so and so many shares, and the order number is 1234. Once it then submits the order to the ATS, where it goes on to find a match. If there's also someone who's selling on the other side and your price matches, or there's someone who's actually willing to sell at a lesser price than what you're willing to buy for, it matches. So after you've bought, we run a settlement cycle that is T+2. T meaning time. So T+2, it means that when you place a trade today, you receive your shares 2 business days from the day that you've placed your order. So if you place your order on a Monday and it matches, it means that you receive your shares on a Wednesday. That is 2 business days from the day of the trade. So I will not spend time on selling shares because it's also the same. From your homepage, you click the sell tab. You can only sell shares that you own. You can't sell what you don't have. So you just have to make sure that you have a balance of the shares that you do want to sell. It asks you to select the counter that you want to sell, the volume, and the price that you want to sell for. And it goes onto the engine to find the corresponding site to match. So for you to trade, obviously it comes at a cost, and these are the costs that are associated with trading on ZSE. The total buying cost is 1.693% of the valuation of the shares that you want to buy, and the cost of selling is 2.443%, and the total turnaround would bring it to 4.136. That is, if you're buying and selling, you incur a total cost of about 4.136%. And on VFEX, the costs are slightly cheaper, and the total cost of buying is 1.28%. The total cost of selling is 1.03%, and the grand total turnaround is about 2.31%. So I think that marks the end of my presentation. I tried to be as fast as I could in the interest of time. Over to you, Farai.
Thank you so much, Marjorie. The attention to time is appreciated from all of our presenters. Thank you very much from ZSE and VFEX. Thank you so much. I trust our participants have been following, and I know from the activity in the questions that there are some follow-up issues which need to be tackled. I'm assuming, my colleagues on the technical side, that you've given us an extension for our meeting, because we're going to go into Precious's presentation now, and then after that, we'll be taking the few questions that may remain after 1 or 2 have been asked in the chat. So, Precious, I see you are ready. Let me hand over to you and take us through your presentation.
Thank you, Farai. Confirm you can all see my screen.
We see your screen, just waiting for presentation mode. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm within the stipulated time. Just a brief outline of my presentation. We'll talk about the capital market toolkit. We'll just run through the journey of the toolkit and outreach and training that has been done to date and how you can access the toolkit, and then I'll give my conclusion. So the Capital Market Toolkit is a toolkit which we developed internally for use in primary and secondary schools during lessons or clubs so that there's ongoing financial literacy and awareness education throughout the schools as well as universities. And the toolkit is also relevant for use in universities and communities. The toolkit was reviewed and approved by the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education's Curriculum Development Unit as supplementary material for use in schools. So why we have done that is so that financial education begins at an early age. And from the presentation, you'll notice that even under a tree, you can still learn about the capital market. This was during one of the outreach sessions that we held in Zaka, and we had a lot of students that were learning about the capital market and participating as they were asking and answering questions. The journey, this is what the journey looks like from where we started until we actually had the toolkit in place. We developed a book called Investment 101 in 2019, and we made sure that we have summaries of this which can be transferred in various forms. You'll notice that in 2020 we developed a WhatsApp audio version which we can share through the various WhatsApp groups. The same material was then translated into Shona and Ndebele. So we have Inzalo Yemali as well as Mindu Pamari as the translations of Investment 101. That happened between 2020 and 2023. Because we want to ensure that everybody is included, we developed a Braille version of Investment 101, which we launched in 2024. Thereafter, we developed workbooks for some of the material which we have, which is the Grain of Fortune video and Ayoba Mkoba drama. So these workbooks are developed from those the audio drama as well as the video. What is in the toolkit? Like I mentioned previously, we have the Investment 101 handbook. You have the translations, which is Inzalo Yemali and Mindu Pamari. We have the Grain of Fortune workbook, which is developed from the video, and Ayoba Mkoba workbook, which concentrates on discussions around the audio drama that you would have listened to. And obviously, then we have the branded material, which we intend for the person who will be training or teaching students about the capital market. They will be branded in our corporate attire, as you can see there. Outreach. We conducted outreach to make sure that the toolkit is not just a kit which we keep within the commission, but it is the kit which is being dispersed and distributed to schools all around Zimbabwe. And this is done through our outreach and training. We've trained 12,085 students. We've reached 574 teachers. 52 toolkits have been distributed. We reached 10 provinces through Training of Trainers workshop, which we held last week. And we've also reached 8 provinces through our outreach activities, where we team up with our securities market intermediaries. We go out to schools and communities. We teach the students about the capital market, the products and services that are offered. And at the end, we hand over the toolkit, because you'll notice even from the webinar today, this is not enough time for you to say you've learned adequately about the capital market. But once you have the capital market toolkit, you can then continue to learn and teach about the capital market in the absence of either ourselves or our securities market intermediaries. Now, where or how do you access the toolkit? We have the toolkit housed on our website, www.SECZim.co.zw. We have it available for distribution through the WhatsApp channels, and once our number has been activated, which is 0719 322 922, the toolkit is available on soft copy and we can share it via the WhatsApp platforms. You can download the video and the audio drama on our YouTube channel. Or if you want the actual toolkit, you can purchase a physical copy for only $99. Now, what happens after you obtain the toolkit? It'll equip individuals and communities with capital market knowledge. When you have that knowledge, you are then empowered as communities to make informed financial decisions. When you have that knowledge, you can then begin to participate meaningfully in financial markets and ultimately will then build long-term financial well-being. And that is the end of my presentation. I hope it was brief, but worth taking note of. And we are available to come through to your schools, your organizations, to talk about the toolkit in detail, to actually play and share the material for your appreciation. And then you can then make a decision to either partner with us, where you then purchase a toolkit, take it maybe back to your school, to your churches, to your family members, so that you can spread the word about the capital market and ensure that individuals are empowered about learning about the capital market. We're inviting you to purchase a toolkit, download it in soft copy so that you can get practical knowledge about the capital market in a simplified version. The whole purpose of the toolkit is to simplify what you have already learned today so that you use it in your daily lives. I thank you and I hand back to Farai.
Precious, thank you so much for that presentation. I think it really focused the mind in terms of where it is we're going in terms of democratizing the information on the capital market and including everybody in Zimbabwe in this initiative to participate as investor, as a possible issuer, a small business that has ambitions to list, and everything across the board. And with our practitioners in mind, particularly the HR practitioners, we would throw the gauntlet at you and say, to what extent are you preparing members of staff, employees at all levels for the day when they walk out of the environments in which they are currently employed? Do you talk investment? Do you talk about life after employment? How are you preparing them for that eventuality? And how has a presentation and discussion like this opened up your own minds and maybe informed your strategies on how to go forward? I'd like to open things up to a couple of questions, if there are any, and I'm sure the team will assist me to see whether there are any hands up. I'm aware that a couple of questions have already been addressed, and I can see that Alice has also responded to one item. There is one from Tino Chikono. Tino, would you like to ask your question yourself, or can I go ahead and read it? Maybe in the interests of time, let me say to Marjorie, Tino says, I've signed up with ZSE and VFEX recently, but I have a problem with evaluating the unit trust and ETF performance for the past at least 5 years. If anyone or any site could help on this, he would appreciate it. And also, he speaks of good reputation in terms of dividend. Marjorie, are you online still for you to respond to that? Or would you like to take note and then contact Tino directly? Marjorie?
Oh yes, sure. I'm here. So to Tino, yeah, if you can contact us as an exchange. We do have a department that is responsible for keeping market data. So you can email data@zse.co.zw. I will type the email in the chat box. And also, as part of the ETF's continuing obligations, they are obliged to be publishing the net asset value daily on their website. So you should also be keeping up with their website and the updates that they would be making. But you can reach out to the exchange and we will be glad to provide you with the data of that ETF as you may need.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Marjorie, and I'm sure Tino is answered. Dudu, if you're online and you can see questions on your end, please bring them to our attention. Thank you for that email address, Marjorie. We see it. Any comments or questions? Please go ahead and unmute and ask your question. If not, it suggests that our presenters have all done a very good job. If we can give them a resounding round of applause. I know you had already clapped earlier. Let's applaud their efforts this morning yet again as we now wrap up our webinar. I want to thank the conveners. Thank you so much to the presenters in the form of George, Alice, Marjorie, and Precious. Thank you, Talent, for the coordination. Thank you, Duduzile, in particular, from the IPMZ for making this webinar possible. And please understand that we remain ready to continue this conversation in this formalized setting so that we continue to benefit in a structured and organized way. I also am grateful that IPMZ saw it fit to continue our engagement following the annual outing, their symposium, which they did in Kariba, and they agreed to be part of yet another engagement in this format. And for those of you who are in this webinar, please know that the Commission's mandate is to provide education forum, awareness forum, which enable us to continue engaging in the quest of raising overall awareness and participation in the capital market. The awareness levels are still extremely low, and our role is to lower those barriers which suggest that the capital market is for the elite or for the well-heeled or for certain segments of society. This is not true. And when you see one of the regulated entities this morning saying your proof of residence can come from your sabbuku, that in itself is talking about inclusion. So without any further ado, let me release you for your other duties, to thank you for your participation, and maybe even take the liberty of wishing you a good, prosperous, and safe festive season and 2026, God willing. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much, Farai, for everything. Wonderful.
Thank you, Farai, and thanks to everybody in the background that made this webinar happen. And thanks to all the participants.